ForaTv. The world is thinking.
Let's consider a few of the public officials involved here. Congressman Barney Frank of Massachusetts, speaking in 2003, quote, "I would like to get Fannie and Freddie more deeply into helping low-income housing.
Yes.
I want to roll the dice a little bit more in this situation towards subsidized housing," close quote. What was Congressman Frank thinking?
He was thinking of getting reelected. Because when you do favors of people, those people are more likely to contribute to your campaigns. They're more likely to vote for you if they're in your district. And so all of this is perfectly understandable from the standpoint of Congressman Barney Frank. So is his more recent statement that he wants the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac to lower their lending standards for condos now. In other words, lowering the standards for housing was such a big success, he's now going to move on to the condos. Presumably he'll eventually get to the apartments.
All right. The 43rd President of the United States, George W. Bush, you write, quote, "President George W. Bush joined the push for more home ownership," close quote.
Yes.
How come?
You'll have to ask him that. I know of no rational explanation. But his point was that he wanted more people to be able to own homes. This is the magic thing about politics. You set one goal and you don't worry about the repercussions. It's like Admiral Farragut saying, full steam ahead, damn the torpedoes.
Right.
And, of course, the torpedoes got us. But he wanted the federal government, particularly the Federal Housing Administration, to make loans so that people could buy a house without a down payment. He thought a down payment was just one of those fussy things that the market had come up with. You know, and as so often happens.
You're being very rough on him. This was the compassionate part of compassionate conservatism. He was trying to make the conservative free market position more palatable for voters as a whole, and this was one of the ways in which he did so. Was it politically understandable?
It was political. Most disasters are politically understandable.
All right. Alan Greenspan, chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank from 1987 to 2006. You quote him in The Housing Boom and Bust as saying during a television interview, this is Alan Greenspan, quote, "While I was aware a lot of these practices, this lending, were going on, I had no notion of how significant they had become until very late. I really didn't get it until very late in 2005 and 2006. Should Greenspan have gotten it a lot earlier?
A lot of other people got it a lot earlier. But on the other hand, I think as compared to members of Congress, he was way in advance. Because while he was warning Congress that there was problems down the road, especially with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, he was saying there's no immediate problem, but if this continues on to the end of the decade, which is where we're approaching right now, it's going to be a disaster.
Now, Barney Frank, George W. Bush, Alan Greenspan, of those three, who was the worst actor?
Oh, Barney Frank easily.
Okay, and of those three, whom does the press still listen to?
Barney Frank.
Thank you, Tom.